This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto on the Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And the final week of the NHL season still has some stakes. And tonight, all eyes are on the Atlantic Division. Once again. Honestly, I feel like I've been saying that over the last 2 weeks, but it is still compelling. The Leafs play their second last game of the season tonight against Buffalo, while the Lightning try to keep their division hopes alive against the Panthers. Well, let's start with the clinching scenarios. If Toronto gets a point of any kind tonight, they win their division for the first time since the COVID North Division. And if you ignore that, it's been even longer. The Leafs are 2-0 against the Sabres this season, outscoring them 11-6 in those games. But they're not just playing for the division tonight, there's some individual accolades also at stake. For the second time in his career, Mitch Marner is at 99 points, one away from his first ever 100-point campaign. And Marner's on a torrid stretch to end the season with 16 points in 11 games. Another milestone on the line tonight is Matthew Knies' first ever 30-goal season. The 22-year-old is having a career year with 55 points, 20 more than last season, and 14 more goals. But if they wrap up the division tonight, it is possible we could see some players rested for their season finale. So tonight might be the night to lock these things up. Okay, now to the Florida element of this one. The benefit to winning the division is a matchup with Ottawa instead of Florida, and that's exactly what the Lightning are playing to avoid right now, as Tampa has lost 2 of 3 matchups against their in-state rivals so far this season. And the Florida we see in the playoffs could be different, as they're getting much healthier and could be at full strength. I would love for the Leafs to clinch the division tonight and for the boys to get those records, have a little rest day for the playoffs. But you know, I try not to get my hopes up leading into this time of year, and I think Leafs fans all feel the same way. All right, you know we love our goalies around here, so who better to join us than Marty Biron?
Great to see you, Marissa. I know you love goalies as well, so I'm glad that we're having that goalie chat right now.
Okay, Marty, heading into these playoffs, outside of Connor Hellebuyck, who's the one goalie you'd take for a long playoff run and why?
It's pretty easy for me. It's Andrei Vasilevsky. Listen, Connor Hellebuyck is number one in every category. Goals save above expectation, save percentage, goals against average, wins. Well, you know what? Andrei Vasilevsky is second in most of those categories. He's second in goals save above expectations, second in wins, third in goals against average when you look at goalies that have played over 15 games. So yeah, I'm looking at Andrei Vasilevsky. Not only does he have the numbers, he has the experience of having won 2 Stanley Cups, having been to 3 Stanley Cups in a row, and one a while ago. So I'm looking at Andrei Vasilevsky as potentially the second best goaltender in the playoffs this year.
I hate to hear it, but yeah, you're right. Who's a goaltender that no one's really talking about, that you think could get hot and lead a team on an unexpected cup run?
Well, you got to look at the Colorado Avalanche and Mackenzie Blackwood. Look, that trade happened from the San Jose Sharks to the Colorado Avalanche. He was on fire at the beginning. He ended up with a 22-12-3 record with the Colorado Avalanche, a 233 and 913. Those are good numbers. Of late, it's not been the best for Mackenzie Blackwood, but I still think when it comes to the playoff, the Avalanche have a fantastic team, and Mackenzie Blackwood is a great goaltender. So I'm thinking, look, that Central Division, the Jets, the Dallas Stars, that's a really tough, part of the bracket in the playoffs. But if Colorado is going to do great in the playoffs, it's going to be because Mackenzie Blackwood is going to be that top goaltender.
I do love when Colorado's as well, so I'm okay with this. Marty Biron, I'm so happy you were able to join us. Thanks for doing this. Time enough, my favorite segment, and yours, We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And if there were ever a story that aligned with my soul, it's this one. Lecce was playing Juventus this past weekend in Serie A action, and this fan had a full-on sandwich station going.
Direttamente dal Juventus Stadium, Uaia, Porchetta e Provola. E c'ha a fare, comando, running inside.
Porchetta e Provola. Listen, that's just a good panine. You need a good panine for your sports watching. This is normal behavior. To the association, and just like that, we are at the play-in, as we have a pair of games tonight for the 7th seed in each conference, starting with the Hawks and Magic. These two teams have played 4 times this season, splitting the series, and it will actually be the 3rd meeting between them in the last week, with tonight being for the right to likely get smoked by the Celtics in round 1. But it's that second game that really has our attention, as the Warriors host the Grizzlies. Now, the Warriors were very close to not being in this spot, as they lost a close OT thriller to the Clippers on the final game of the season. But even though they have to play an extra game, this could be the safer path. With a win tonight, they play the 2nd-seeded Rockets in round 1, who don't have any real playoff experience. And you avoid OKC till a potential conference final. Now, this Warriors team should 100% be looked at as a possible title contender. Since Jimmy got into the lineup February 8th, the Warriors have the 3rd best winning percentage in the association, and they're doing it with the league's best defense. Shocker, Jimmy Butler shows up and you become elite defensively, while the Grizz are the opposite side of that, as they fired their head coach Taylor Jenkins just over 2 weeks ago. Now, the other factor in this play-in is Steph Curry, as he does not have a good history here. He's 0-3 in the play-in in his career, but looking at the numbers, it's definitely not his fault, as as he's dropped a couple of monster games here that just happen to have been losses. Now, for those of you that are still confused as to how the NBA play-in works, whoever wins both games tonight will get the 7th seed in their conference, while the loser plays the winner of the 9-10 games for the right to the 8th seed. And you can watch both games tonight on TSN. It starts at 7:30 Eastern with the Hawks and Magic, then after that, the Grizzlies and Warriors. Now, I know typically on Tuesday I like to finish with an anytime goal scorer bet, but I did give you one last night with Davidoff, so you're welcome. But we're gonna hold off until Thursday because we want to give you one last winner on the last game of the regular season. That's it for me today. Luca will be filling in for me tomorrow. I will see you later in the week.